Hey guys, Erector Gedi here with another housing tips and tricks video. Today we're doing a challenge walkthrough on the Osun Foundry FABkit. Now just to be clear, this FABkit did have a name change. As of drop number 2, it's now called Osun Foundry. It used to be called Osun Forge. However, the challenge name is the same, and that is Tower Defender. So today we're going to look at how to complete this challenge, which a lot of people find very tough. But hopefully after this walkthrough and guide, you're going to be able to do it yourself without a problem. So, as the challenge name may have suggested to you, it is a tower defense style challenge. Basically what that means is you're going to have waves of mobs that are spawning from 3 different points underneath the foundry, and you have to use some special abilities to kill them. So you can see you have a new toolbar that pops up, and you basically have 3 towers and 1 special strike that you can use. So the 3 towers are a slow that's going to basically do a little bit of damage and slow everything that passes by it, a flame tower that's going to do more damage but not slow everything that passes by it, and then there's a lightning tower which is going to do infrequent high bursts of damage. And the slow, counterintuitively, is completely worthless. That's my first big tip for defeating this challenge, is do not use the slow tower at all. If you're familiar with tower defense games, you'll probably actually start out by using the slowing tower, but for whatever reason it does not, I don't know if it's a bug or what, but it does not do enough damage and or provide enough slow to actually allow you to complete this challenge successfully. Now you should also know one thing with the towers is if 2 of them are stacked up very close to each other, they will despawn much quicker. That's not immediately obvious from looking at the UI, but you do have to place the towers relatively close, or relatively far apart. Now each tower has a lifespan of 45 seconds, and so the strategy that I'm using here is basically to treat each of the corners of the walkway, as well as the walkway between the corners, as a separate point where I can put a tower. So altogether, that's a total of 7 points, and the 45-second cooldown gives you just enough time to keep up about 6.5 of those, which means when the first one goes down, your next cooldown will go to putting it up again. And so basically your goal is to keep the towers, to keep 1 tower up at each of those spots for as long as you can, to have the highest uptime possible. To defeat them, you will need to have a very high uptime. So the biggest tip I can give you is to make keeping the cooldown on your towers always down. That means putting down a tower as frequently as you possibly can. Make that your #1 goal. And don't get too distracted by the mobs that are coming by and the #1 ability that you have to use. Now, even though the slow tower is completely useless, the other 2 you do need to use in combination to deal the correct amount of damage for the different frequencies of mobs and the timing of the waves that come. So basically you're just going to want to alternate. Right at the bottom of the ramp, you can see I've got a flame tower. On the second part of the ramp, the first incline, I have a lightning. Right on the upper left-hand, the first corner of the tower, I have a flame, and so on and so forth. So essentially you'll have lightning on the ramp sections and flame tower on the corners. Using specific spots and just increasing as you go up the ramp also makes it a lot easier, because these obviously don't look like towers in any real sense of the word. They're just little graphics that go on the ground, and it can be really hard to see when they despawn. So don't use the visual cues at all. You just want to go off the cooldown timers on your new ability bar to help you know when you need to put the next tower down and where. Now you have another special ability that you basically, when you're not putting a tower down, you are going to be spamming your #1 ability. It's a strike that just does a lot of damage in a small circle. Now in general, there's going to be enough damage from the towers where you don't have to worry too much about killing individual mobs, you know, like when they're straggling past you, except for the dogs. The dogs are very fast, and you'll want to prioritize killing those as soon as you see them with your strike ability. And again, other than that, you're just spamming it on as many mobs as possible when you're not putting a tower down. If you guys have any questions about the techniques I use, please feel free to let me know in the comments section or reach out to me on Twitter. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share with friends.